mentioned how much Cooper's progressed, how much Blaze has progressed. How much has Dylan progressed? I mean, last year
That's good.
he was a little disappointed with where he finished the national tournament. So what did he do to get better this offseason?
The big thing for him too is riding. That was one of the emphasis, and he told me, he actually told me this spring because he didn't wrestle any freestyle. He's like, I want to work on getting better on top, and he's looked good on top. It's just sometimes I think it's just about having an attitude. We talk to our guys a lot about that because a guy like Laser, and this isn't a knock on Laser, he's not very strong. He's not very strong, but he had an attitude when he was on top, and that I was not going to let you go. And we got to get guys to have that kind of attitude, and Dylan's got to have that kind of attitude where I'm not going to let this guy go. But he spent a lot of time on top. Obviously, guys know where he's going to go. He's got that knockout punch, but he can't just rely on the knockout punch. He's got to have some other things to go with it. And he has much more offense than sometimes he realizes. He's got a ton of offense in there. He doesn't just have the one move, the cow catcher that wasn't going to work in college anyway, but pinned 18 guys last year. But he's got a lot of offense. It's been good for him to have, right now you got in that room, you got a young freshman that's pretty good. You got a couple young freshmen that are pretty good that are pushing him. You got post-collegiate guys and a guy like Joe Cologne and Laser that are in there that are building this guy. So he's got a ton of guys to make him better, and that are high-level guys already, and he's doing pretty well with those guys. So yeah, he had to jump a level though. Sixth place wasn't where he wanted to end up by any means, and all those guys are back. So he's definitely got better. So.
Can you talk about that? I think you have 7 post-collegiate wrestlers in your room. What's that mean for your program? How's that help?
Wow, I mean, I can't. Look at how many sets of eyes that is. How many sets of experience that is. How many sets of hands that is on your guys. You can't replace that. I mean, that hands-on, you can't possibly replace that. I mean, I can't emphasize it enough how important that is to have hands-on guys in your room, and then having guys where I'm wrestling a guy like Joe Cologne and I can score points on Joe Cologne. That's pretty big. That's pretty big if I can. Joe just got 3rd last year. He's the #1 guy in the country most of the year. I'm scoring points on him. I'm taking him to the wall. In some of these practices, that builds my confidence. And the thing with our guys is the guys those post-collegiate guys that are in there, they're invested in our program though. It's not like, almost all of them went through the program. They know these guys. They have a vested interest in our program, and they want to give back. That's why they're here. They want to get better too, but they're here to give back to those guys, and they're getting better in turn. So it's a formula. You look at all the teams that have won, in the last 30 years, 40 years. They've had a strong post-collegiate, core group of guys around them. I mean, see, Penn State has a bunch of guys training in the room. It makes a difference. Iowa has a bunch of guys. Iowa State has a bunch of guys. Okie State, Oklahoma, Cornell. Every one of those teams that are the top teams have that, and so we want to be one of those top teams, and we have that too. And that's been something that was important to me when I got this job, is getting the club strong, and having guys in there. And national titles are, that's what we're shooting for, as being a college coach. But I want to put guys on the World Olympic team too. And it kind of then our guys don't think about that. There's a whole nother level. That can be huge, too, for your program. But seeing guys in there train with those guys, and how they're rubbing off on them, and make them better, it's critical to our advancement.